Welcome back to another episode of One on One with Courtney and Starks. I know you guys just saw me, but I had to change because I'm from Brooklyn and I have to rep Brooklyn sportswear. Shout out to my man Cool for Life for providing us with the amazing merchandise. But the queen to the other side of me is actress Latonya Williams. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Courtney.
Thank you. I love this week. This week has been full of all queens, and it wasn't planned that way. It's just been queens all day. So I am excited to close it out with you, Latonya. Thank you for being here once again. I wanted to ask, because a lot of times when I speak to people and they tell me their journey about getting into acting and things of that nature, they don't always get into the nitty-gritty of what they may have been doing prior. You, ma'am, have been into the sciences. And I commend you, because science was literally the hardest subject to pass all through college, high school, elementary, pre-K. It was too much, okay? A lot.
So you got it, didn't you?
I did. But then again, my grandmother wasn't playing that. Like, if you come home without this A, I'm going to tap that to your behind. So, I had no choice. So let's talk about this. Talk about your interest in biology and biochemistry. Where did you get this fascination to? What gravitated you towards that? And what are those, by the way, to people who may not know?
Okay, well, I gravitated towards that just in high school is what really piqued my interest in those subjects, just because I got really fascinated with knowing on a very deep, very, very small, minute molecular level what is going on inside of our bodies.
Yes.
So that's what took me on this trajectory. I actually was like, listen, I think I'm going to be a doctor. Specifically, I wanted to be a dermatologist because when I was a kid, I had terrible skin and I wanted to help other kids. So that's the trajectory I went on. And so, molecular biology is biology predominantly of the human body, but we did study other things like plants and stuff as well, but on a very small scale. So that's what molecular biology is. And biochemistry is like the biology wing of chemistry. So we are working with the compounds, the solutions. We're doing chemical labs. I've performed all kinds of diagnostic tests in the labs. It's pretty cool.
It sounds good. It sounds cool.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
So how important was education growing up in the household, like for you, and the family? Like, was it like, hey, all A's, we're not going for anything under that? Like, how was that growing up?
It was a focus, definitely. I mean, it wasn't just in school. I was what you might call a bit of an overachiever in a lot of different areas. I played all kinds of sports. I started a cheer team in my school. Okay. So I was a choreographer. I got us the jerseys and the outfits. I choreographed. I didn't know how to cheerlead, but that's you know what that sparked from Bring It On.
I was going to ask you.
I love that movie. I actually wanted to be a cheerleader in university as well, just because that was the dream, right?
So
it was really important.
That's amazing. So you get out of school, you graduate university, and what sparked the acting bug?
So I was on set. I was doing background work because the last summer when I was about to graduate, or I had 1 year left or something like that, I could not find a job. And I decided to do some background work as an actor. I had done acting as a kid.
Yes.
I was the lead in our school play. The school play was called King Nebuchadnezzar, and that's the role that I played because I was like, I want the biggest role. I don't care if it's a guy.
Put me in, because that's what I want.
And I'm like, I'm gonna crush this, so you have no option but to give me this role. So that's where it started.
Yeah.
My parents would not let me be an actor as a kid. Hollywood it's a dicey place children. It's a lot. It is a lot. I mean, you know what? I'm really grateful that because like, I mean, I got to try out all kinds of other things and be this, this well-rounded person that I believe myself to be. But I was on set and I was in background. And have you ever done background?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
You notice that they don't always cheat the background very well?
At all, right. They pick and choose. Like, Yes.
So I was just sitting there looking at the principal actress and I was just like, you know what? I want to be that girl. And when I'm that girl, I'm going to treat the extras with some respect.
Yeah.
And that was the plan. I'm like, I'm going to go and I'm going to be the lead actress so that people on set, everybody can be treated. This is what sparked something in me that like, I just started to really see this hierarchy, not just in movie sets or it was just in the world in general, this hierarchy that was really starting to bother me. And I was like, I'm going to get to the top so I can fix this.
And
that's kind of where it started.
That is so weird, right? That, I speak to a lot of artists and a lot of celebrities, and that's one of the things they always say is that, being on the other end where you're this kind of a background actor or actress, sometimes you're overlooked. But in reality, you make a scene. You make the scene what it is, because without it, it's bland. So sorry to people who don't believe it. But I sometimes will be able to point out somebody that I know in the background before I could even talk about who the main character is, only because of the respect of the craft. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
I know you and how hard you had to work to just stand there and eat that biscuit. I understand how hard that is. So the respect level is so much higher,
Yes, for sure. Exactly. And those people, they're standing back there. They're not saying anything. They're pretending. That is
for hours.
Yeah.
For hours.
Over and over. Same thing.
So the transition, right? When you said to yourself, I'm tired of background acting, right? I want to be in these principal roles. And from what I'm hearing, just from talking to you a little bit, you're determined. I am going to do this no matter what you say. So at what point did the transition happen? How did that work for you?
At what point did the transition? It happened as soon as I graduated. I was like, all right, I got my degree. Look, Mom, I graduated at the top of my class.
Come on.
I'm getting an agent. I'm getting a second job. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I just got an agent and started.
So transitioning from background to principal role, right? What would you tell people in regards to pushing for that? Because it's not always easy. And depending on where you are, who you are, what you know, who you know, you may not always get the doors that you want. So for you, what did you have to do to get a principal role? And how would you encourage others to fight that same battle?
Well, so for me, what I did was as I started, I was learning as I went. I didn't do any sort of courses or program to before I started acting. So I was taking courses. I was in scene study, and I was with my first agent for about 3 years. And one thing I'll say is that they were great and I got a few jobs with them, but sometimes your first agent, they're only ever going to see you as a green actor.
Yeah.
So after I actually took a little break in between, and then I got a new agent, and that's when things like I said, I had some credits under my belt.
Yes.
Years under my belt at this point. I came different.
Yeah.
And they saw me different. So, I mean, I would just suggest hit the ground running, get yourself in class, learn the basics, and just, it's really experience as much as you can, Every commercial audition, as annoying as they are, everyone is an opportunity to learn and just get used to how your body reacts in a room where people are watching. You need to find that stability, and that's going to come that success breeds confidence, right? Yes. So just keep on going and practice. Yeah.
I love that you mentioned, and these are all, for those of you watching, these are all real life conversations, because in this industry, it's definitely never been, I can just jump in and swim and go. It's sometimes you got to get out that water because you're going to drown. You know what I'm saying? And I love that you said I had to stop. I had to take a break. I had to get a new agent. I had to start over. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because in that moment, you kind of are finding out who you are and the things that you want, even in that process, right? Because what you first wanted when you first chased that agent isn't the same thing you want 5, 10 years later. You understand what I'm saying? So
That's
like
exactly
knowing
right.
your work and your purpose and your calling and what you won't allow is always something that goes 10 times harder, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I know a lot of us, you know, we're in this time right now, but we want to grind. We want to be able to do all of these things, but life be lifing, right? So for you, did you ever have a moment where you were like, you know what, maybe I'll just do something else. I'll pivot over, or I'll do, you know, I'll step into another career. But did that ever cross your mind? And what made you stay determined and foot on the ground into acting?
I at one point got some pretty good advice, and it was, you know, do everything you can and focus on your acting career, but have a passion in something else. Be passionate about something else. And I I mean, all along from the starting point, I really wanted to be an actor to gain influence so that I could make a difference.
Yes.
And along the way, I found out what that difference really was going to be for me, and really leaning into that and working alongside some groups that I work with called Self Perfected and Techno Tutor, leaning into this other purpose that I found in life, which is really simultaneous to what I had started with, and that is to bring about equality in this world.
Yes.
So having that other thing and being a real person, that's going to show in your acting so much more than that just desperation, just single focus zone thing. Like that's not ever going to work. People can smell the desperation on you. So it's not to say that I picked up this other passion because I wanted to be better at, like, to enhance my acting career. It's really the other way around. Because I mean, in the end, as fun as acting is, it's a job, right? Like it's not, you're going to work really hard. You're going to work with, you're going to do some jobs you don't like. You're going to do some jobs that you love, and the people that are around you are going to inspire you, and sometimes they won't. And it's so much more important to me, but like the other passions that I have in life, and really the purpose that I have in life. So
we know you, right? I've got to now get up to know you as an actress, but what are some other things that you're into that people may not know? Well,
what I'm seeing in this world, and this problem was largely exacerbated over the last few years. And I said it before, there's a vast inequality in this world. There's a big division between the haves and the have-nots. And I agree. I have really dedicated my life to figuring out how we can bring equality back, so that together we can find and create a solution where people aren't starving to death every single day. And on a more micro level, but still the nation, like we're dealing with a lot of poverty, a lot of mental instability. And the problem at the root of all of this really is this inequality, this lack of balance in our world. And getting to the root of that problem and finding out really what that is, you know, what I'm all about at this time.
I love that. I mean, I do that here out in New York City. We do a lot of grassroots work when it comes to equality, when it comes to effecting change. One of the things that I realize is our lack of community, right? We all say a lot about the things that we want to see in our communities. The issue that we're also having, though, is we're expecting somebody else to fix it. And it's like, hey, you can't be a part of this sector if you're not going to get your feet dirty, right? Or if we're going to turn a blind eye and not hold people accountable to what we're electing them to do. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you say you're going to bring this up when you run or whatever the case may be, then I am going to hold you to that, because I am also going to be standing there bootstraps ready to make sure that we're affecting that change. You understand what I'm saying? So
I do understand what you're saying.
I love that. I really do love to hear what people are kind of like all in on trying to make the world a better place, even at a local level. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so, Courtney, I am not going local. I am going worldwide.
Let's
this is
go.
What we do, man. We are going worldwide. And the problem, you know how we're going to solve it? It is through bringing equal education to everyone. Education is at the root of all of this inequality. And at the root of that lack of education is vocabulary. There's some fascinating research done by the Johnson O'Connor Foundation over 70 years. And there's so much behind and so much information supporting the idea that the reason why there's so much inequity and the people that are super successful, they always have really high vocabularies. And the people that aren't as successful, they always have a lack of vocabulary. People that get divorced, they have in their vocabularies are out of so
and talks about when you talk about like the education mishap, right? An education gap between the haves and the have-nots. Where you know, especially now, and I think we're getting into a generation where people are like, "Oh, you don't need college, or you don't need this." No, you do.
Well, it's not even just the college. It's like the before that point. Right now in the United States, 2 out of 3 kids aren't even reading at the desired level.
At the grade level, yeah.
And you know what happens when people cannot read? It also has a direct impact on what they're able to comprehend and their reasoning capacity. And so the way that they're able to interpret things that are thrown at them from this world is going to be largely handicapped if they don't have the words within them to interpret what's going on. And at that stage, we can be manipulated.
Yes.
And we are being manipulated.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I agree.
It's time. We got work to do, and the doors are closing in. And so there's some urgency behind what I
agree. Especially now, right? Especially now more than ever. These last 3 years have been catastrophic when it comes to education. You know what I'm saying? And the lack of education. And this kind of like letting our youth kind of fend for themselves and then expect them to be at a level that they want them at, when in reality, there wasn't any support happening during that time, you know?
Yeah, I do know. In fact, they're looking at lowering the bar because so many kids aren't meeting it. And what is that going to mean for, like, we cannot have a democracy if people are illiterate.
Yes.
You can't. So not only is democracy itself at stake, but not doing anything about this is going to keep the world exactly the way it is. And that is 20,000 people dying every day of starvation, child slavery, there's abuse, there's poverty, like that. This is the macro scale that I'm looking at.
Yes. We can't talk about breaking generational curses when we are still in chains ourselves. You know what I mean? And lack of education and clear thought and proper vocabulary will keep us in those chains until we realize we are the ones being held down. No matter what we say, we are the ones, you know? Let's talk a little bit about Lifetime. So I had an opportunity, as I was minding my Black business, had an opportunity to see these trilogies. And I love Christmas all year round. If you would let me keep my tree up, it would be up all year. So I happened to be watching the Christmas trilogy with you and Kelly Rowland, and I would love to know how you booked that. That's amazing. That's an amazing thing to be a part of, especially a trilogy. It's not just something that happened once and you were goodbye, but you were able to do and encompass all 3 movies. Yes. How was that? How did that feel? And what did you take away at the end of that?
Oh, that was an amazing moment, because I've done Lifetime, I've done Home, so much Christmas. Like, I'm the Christmas queen over here. And the day my agent told me, like, we actually just happened to be going to this show, and we were at the show. He's like, comes out and he's like, "Oh, Latonya, what's up?" And he's like, "By the way, that show you just booked?" Because I'm like, yeah, I booked a show. You're playing Kelly Rowland's sister.
Oh, man.
What?
Oh,
You know
Talk
what?
about, whew, talk about a breathing moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I was thrilled. And you know what? And then from there, the blessings just kept on rolling in because it was only supposed to be one movie.
Yes.
It became such a massive hit that Lifetime was like, let me break all of our standards and norms and then bring it all back again.
Yeah.
Then again. And again. Maybe again.
Oh man, I really do love that. So on to what's next, right? What do you have coming out that we can support and be a part of?
Well, okay, so right now there is a writer's strike. I don't know if you're aware.
Yes, unfortunately, even though I stand firm 10 toes down with the writers. I do.
Yeah, oh, give them their money. Give them their money.
They deserve it.
I'm with them, and I mean, eventually, if this goes on any longer, the actors will probably go on strike as well. This is anything like the 2008 strike.
Yes.
Well, it might be almost over. So, but auditions are kind of happening still. I'm from Canada, so our writers are not on strike.
Yes.
So we don't do a lot of our completely Canadian homegrown shows, so a lot of work overlaps.
Yeah.
So still auditions. We actually were we were weeks away from filming another Merry Little Christmas.
Oh man.
Yeah. We were about to fly to Puerto Rico. Should I say that? Yeah. We were about to go do that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately that had to take a little bit of a break. But
yeah.
We're
in process.
We're in process.
Well,
so
we are
we're still hoping for 2024 or 2023 December.
We definitely look forward to that. How can people follow you? Where can they follow you at?
You can follow me at Latonya, LATONYA _Williams. You know how to spell that. Latonya _Williams on Instagram. I'm on Twitter sometimes. I'm real Latonya W. Look at how often I'm on Twitter. I didn't even know. Those are the best ways to follow me. I mean,
nice.
On my IMDb. Same.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an amazing pleasure of mine to have you on this show. I love your energy. You are definitely a light, and you are now part of the Courtney's Corner community. So you're welcome back here anytime you'd like. We would love to have you back.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show.
You're welcome.
This has been so fun.
Everybody, this is Latonya Williams. Please make sure you follow her just because I said so. And enjoy the rest of your day. Once again, this is One Courtney Talks, and I am your boy Courtney. I'll see you later.